What's up, guys? This is Russian Carl here, bringing you my draft recap for Season 5 of the PAL. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another season, and I'm happy to announce that even though you guys did not see the last couple of battles for last season because I had some technical difficulties, that's all sorted out and everything. So luckily, you'll be able to see all my battles for this season, for hoping that there's no unforeseeable unfortunate incidents like last season, but I am happy to report we completed the regular season with a perfect 12-0 record, though sadly we lost to Coach Zach and the Whooper Troopers in the semifinals of the playoffs. Extremely close game. It came down to a low roll from my Alakazam hitting his Decidueye with Shadow Ball. Had it killed instead of leaving it with like 5% left. Had it killed instead of that, it would have swept the rest of his team because he had nothing that was built to fight Alakazam after Mega Scizor died. But sadly, I did not get the kill with the Shadow Ball. Low roll indeed. And his Decidueye killed me with a Spirit Shackle, died to Life Orb Recoil, and then his Crobat finished off my Mandibuzz and my Ariados. So that was that there. But anyway, so before I get into what I've drafted for the 5th season of the PLL, I'd like to go over a few of the draft rules that we have changed up for this season. Last season it was pretty simple. We were told draft 9 Mons with 3 OUs, 3 UUs, and then 3 of anything lower than UU. With the only other big caveat was that only 1 legendary or Ultra Beast per team. This season we changed it up somewhat differently. Just give me a second here to have a little drink. Tastes good. Gotta love me some iced tea. But anyway, this season we changed it up. We now have, as you can see on the screen by the layout I have there, we have one S tier pick, which I'll explain a little bit. 1 OU Mon, 2 UU Mons, 2 RU Mons, and then we have 4 free agent picks from a pool of 400 points. With OU Mons being worth 180 points, UU being 120, RU 100. NU was 60 and PU was 40 points. So we had to work around that. We had to make sure that we made 4 picks with our free agent points. We couldn't just draft 2 OUs and an NU and be like, well, or 2 OUs and a PU and be like, all right, that's 400 points. I guess I'm good. No, you have to make it work. And phone's going off, which is not exactly the best thing. But so we changed it up a bit. For S tier, the S tiers were Megas. Other than that, the S tiers were also Kyurem. It was all Megas, all Ultra Beasts, and Kyurem Black. Since he's got stats that are better than Mega Garchomp, and he can hold an item. So I consider him better than most Megas. Sure, his typing's a bit of a letdown, but we discussed this on length and decided he was strong enough to be chilling up there. Anywho, we also instituted franchising for any people that have been stuck with the PIL for the past couple of years. A bit of a thank you to them. And we're 5 seasons deep, and we have a roster of 12 teams. 3 new teams this season, as we made some rotations and some changes. Changed up the divisions as well. I am the head of the Electabuzz division, where it's me, the St. Petersburg Snorlaxes, the Whooper Troopers, the Yosemite Sandslashes, our new team, the New York Ariadoses, a returning team, the Tennessee Tauroses, and a also new team, the Atlanta Arcanites. So glad to welcome those 2 teams to our group as well. But for the teams who did stick around in the past couple seasons, we did let them franchise a pick. A bit unfair in hindsight, but we're gonna make it work, and hopefully these new people will stick, and they'll get to do this for next season. But anyway, franchising, for those who don't know, is if you have used a Mon in a previous season with our league, you're able to reuse that Mon instantly. Just grab it, saying, "Hey, I'm keeping this guy." So, for example, like the Tennessee Tauroses, in Season 3 used a Mega Gardevoir, and they opted to franchise that. It does take up whatever the regular slot is on their team, so if it was like Mega OU, UU, RU would have taken up one of the mandatory slots for there. If it was NU or PU, though, it would have used up some of the free agent points. But I don't think anyone franchised any NU picks, NU or PU. But anyway, I looked at a mon that I looked for mons that I would have fun with this season. Guys that I either really enjoyed using or have never used before, and I've wanted to, and you know, I was curious to see how I could make a team up around this. But so right off the bat, when I was given the option of franchising, I made the choice to franchise my good friend Mandy the Mandibuzz. For those of you who've watched my videos of all last season, you can definitely see that this thing put in a lot of work. I mean, especially against the Yosemite Science Slashes and their team for last season, it should have died extremely quickly, considering he had Tapu Lele and some other... And he had Tapu Lele, Umbreon, and a few other things that Mandibuzz does not handle at all. So, considering all of that, Mandibuzz ended up getting, I think, 3 or 4 kills against his team, which was pretty insane. Actually, yeah, 3, I think, because I think it took out Zarina, Meteor, and then something else, but it was crazy and not what I expected. Mandibuzz definitely was a mon I picked up last season, because when I started last season, I had a Sandstorm team, and I'm like, oh, this thing has Overcoat, so it's immune to sand. Not realizing the gem that I stumbled upon. It's amazing, you know, 110 base HP, 105 base defense, 95 base special defense. It's an all-around wall. Defog, so it's got hazard control, Roost for self-recovery, and the coup de grace. It's got foul play, so I think that thing physically bulky. They have someone who's physically strong that doesn't hit me super effectively, and I just sit there in front of them and I just foul play them to death. I make them kill themselves, and it's just beautiful. And I gotta say, I just had so much fun with Mandibuzz, and I figured with some of the mons that I wanted to use for this season, I needed something that resisted Ghost. My team didn't plan out the way I was hoping it would, so maybe Mandibuzz wasn't as needed in the long run, but I'm going to make it work. I love Mandibuzz. We're going to keep it going. But the Dark Flying type got immunity to Psychic, immunity to Ground, resistance to Ghost, a lot of neutralities. Yes, this weekend's Ice Rock Fairy, and Electric, which some of those do cause an issue for me with some other parts of my team, but you know, this is league play. Obviously, like, if I have 3 or 4 guys who all share a weakness, I'm not going to bring all 4 of them to fight a guy who carries that typing. So, obviously, I'm going to make some changes week in and week out on what I need to do for this. But anyway, so, after that, we actually got to go on to the actual draft. After all the franchise picks were done and everything, and again, the franchises went in order of... once we figure out who had the draft pick, what the draft order was, they went in order of that. So it was 2 people on the same thing, because the different seasons we've used different mons, and there were times that like I've used guys who other people have used as well. Anyway, so my first round 1, my first overall pick of the draft was my Mega, and it was a Mega that I used once in a small monotype challenge we did between some of the members of the PAL. We kind of counted as our second season of the PAL, but not really, because we only had about 8 members at that time, and there were some shenanigans, and ipso facto, Coach Joe of the Yosemite Science Lesson ended up winning, even though he won the entire thing, even though he forfeited his semi-final match. I don't know what to say about that, but anyway, I had a lot of fun with this mon. I had the Psychic monotype, and of course I had the options of like Mega Alakazam and Mega Slowbro, stuff like that, but I went for fun things. I used Mega Medicham, and I used this guy, Mega Gallade, and oh boy did I have so much fun with Mega Gallade. He is an absolute monster, having great utility moves such as like D-Bond and Will-O-Wisp, as well as Skill Swap, as well as great coverage options with Leaf Blade, Drain Punch, Close Combat, Ice Punch, Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, Shadow Sneak for priority. He's got such a wide move pool. It's insane. And then to top it off, he's running that base 165 physical attack. It's a monstrous stat, and with Swords Dance, he can send that thing through the roof, and then he just OHKOs everything in existence. Unless it's like a Psychic Fairy type like Gardevoir or Lele, in which he just kind of shrugs and goes, well, I tried. But in addition, like, when they changed how Megas worked in this gen, because originally, you know, with the way Megas worked, you didn't get your whenever you Mega Evolved, you kept the speed tier of whatever you were at before you Mega Evolved. So Pokemon like Mega Swampert, who speed would increase, and in certain conditions with his Swift Swim double, he wouldn't get that in the first turn. So a lot of guys, especially some of the frailer Megas, were forced to run like Protect and stuff, because like, oh, I even though I should check this thing and kill it, I can't, because it outspeeds me on this turn, so I have to run Protect to protect myself so I can actually threaten it. But they changed that, so now when you Mega, you get the new speed right away. So Galley goes from a measly base 80 speed up to an amazing base 110. He's the second fastest guy on my team, I believe. Yes, he is, as you'll see. And so now that frees up a slot. So now you can actually run like Swords Dance and 3 attacking moves, or you could go 4 attacking moves, run some type of utility set. His defense has also got a boost, with his base defense going up from about 60 to a nice base 95, giving him a nice rounded out 68, 95, 115 bulk spread, which is pretty nice, especially for an offensive mod. Special attack is still pretty terrible, but we don't care about that at all. But I'm looking to hit hard, get lots of kills with this guy. So much I can do with him. It's just, I can't wait. I can't wait to get into this league with it. I just really wanted to, use this. But anyway, for my second pick, because it was a snake draft, so my second, and I was kind of late in the draft. I think it was like number 9 or number 10. So my second pick came around rather quickly. At this point, I'm like, oh, well, all right, I got a good wall. I got a good physical attacker. I need a good special sweeper. I need someone who could just kind of snowball out of control. On the special side, I've got all my physical offense, or most of my physical offense right now. Need more for the other side. So I figured, let's use what's something I haven't used that hasn't been picked up yet. Superior. And I got this little green grass snake who's, at first glance, his stats are kind of average, 75, 75, 95, 75, 95, with a nice 113 base speed. He's the fastest guy on my team. And he can even slap Choice Scarf on that. He outspeeds quite a bit. But, for those who know Superior, he's OU for a reason. Because that amazing ability of Contrary. So he gets Leaf Storm. Contrary reverses stat changes. So every Leaf Storm doubles his special attack. And you get to do massive damage, and you get a boost for free, pretty much. He's set up without the need of trying to find the spot to set up, because you could just start trying to blow stuff out of the water and get rewarded for it. Unless they got, like, Mirror Coat. Then you, like, die. But, and decent 95 bulk. 75 HP, 95 impulse defense is not bad. Special attack is at 75, so is physical attack. So he can be mixed attacker, though he's better with special because of Leaf Storm. He doesn't really have anything to abuse physical attacks with Contrary. But I have seen like Aquatail Z moves on and stuff like that on him. So it's not entirely unforeseen. I figured my whole focus this season, after playing the perfect regular season, for perfect undefeated streak last season up until the playoffs, that I wanted to have some fun this season. I wanted to take a relaxing approach and just pick guys I want to have fun with. There wasn't a lot of thought that went into this. I'm not looking to make a name for myself or anything like that. I do this for fun. like Like One Punch Man. He's a hero for fun. I'm a Poke Battler for fun. This ain't my job. It'd be amazing if it was my job, but it ain't my job. Anyway, after that, I figured I'd need a little more special offense because looking at my picks, I knew if things planned out the way I wanted to, I would need a little more special offense around certain guys, and some utility and some more support would be great. And I noticed somehow this thing didn't get picked up by that time. And yes, I mean, I know we're using the entire Pokedex this season as opposed to last season where we just used the Sun and Moon Dex. But, I mean, this is still an exceptionally good Mon. So, for my third pick overall, I grabbed Alolan Ninetales. And I gotta say, I mean, I don't have much to say about this. As much as I said I was going to say something, I really don't got much to say. I mean, Ice Fairy, it's not very offensive. I mean, it sits in the same pool, sits around the same strength as Superior, 81 base special attack. 109 base speed is good. So it puts him in so far like my three offensively oriented guys so far are all over base 100, and my one defense guy is like base 80 something, so it's not like I have a slow team at the moment. But you know, Snow Warning gives me no miss blizzards. The combination of Snow Warning and Aurora Veil allows me to basically set up Light Screen and Reflect on my team in one turn. Like Clay, get 8 turns of that, or I can Focus Sash if I know someone's going to try to use priority on me, or try to knock me out in one shot and carry coverage for me, and Focus Sash will guarantee I get it up, and then I can just kind of back out and just keep, you know, Ninetales alive for when sending in something else. But yeah, it also gets Freeze Dry, which is really important, because there's always going to be a bulky water type that tries to sit in front of Ninetales and force it out because they can't really do anything to it. But at least with Freeze Dry, I can still hit those water types super effectively and deal some pretty decent damage, especially ones like Gastrodon, and Pelipper, who are already they're already taking neutral because of their flying typing. But then since Freeze Dry is super effective against water instead of not very effective, it just becomes quad super effective. It's just great. And yeah, that's pretty much all I want to do with the Ninetales, is just, you know, sit there, set my Aurora Veils, Moonblast some things, Blizzard some things. I mean, there are quite a few dragons that got drafted, and Pokemon like Landorus, who Landorus T got drafted as well, which this counters it pretty well. Sorry about that. But I'm hoping to get a lot of use out of this. I wanted to use it ever since I kind of saw it being used in last season, though it didn't get used very well against me. The only time both times I fought it weren't used kind of the way I had expected, so it was a bit strange. But anyway, make it work. After that, I decided to go for more special offense, and at this point, this is where weaknesses start to come into play, because now at this point when I unveil this, I'm going to have 3 rock weaknesses, which is not exactly the best. And that said, Landorus I talked about probably have a field day just choice scarfing rock slides at me, but whatever. For my 4th pick overall, I drafted Thunderous Therian form. Mainly my original team, and at this point my draft was kind of thrown off a bit. Originally I had planned to pick up Empoleon at this slot, but quite literally I had picked up Ninetales, and the draft was making its way back to me. The person right before me picked Empoleon. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. It was just completely out of left field. I didn't expect it at all, especially from that person. But I had to make do, and I just figured, you know what, I'm just going to go with the rest of my plan. I could figure out something else to throw in Empoleon's spot. I can get a bulky water type or something like that. That's not hard. I didn't do that, just so you know. I didn't do that, and we'll get to that at the end. But anyway, I got Thunderous T because originally the plan was, you know, I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh yeah, Empoleon and Mandibuzz can be a pretty good defensive core, because things that Empoleon doesn't like, Mandibuzz eats up. The only thing that they both don't like is electric attacks. So I'm like, well, I need something that can handle electric attack. And I didn't want to go with Lantern because then I would, because I felt at that point I would have had too little offense on my team. So I looked at Pokemon that had Volt Absorb, and I saw Thundurus T, and I'm like, oh, I never used any of the genies. So that would be pretty cool to use one of the forms. And him having Volt Absorb gives me an immunity, and also being Flying type gives me another immunity to Ground. Which, I only have one guy who's really weak to Ground, so it's whatever. But, he was picked for that reason. Have immunities in case things like Coco or Magnezone got picked up. I needed something that could just take a Thunderbolt, no problem, because of its and then fire back with whatever hidden power or whatever I'm packing that week. He does get a very nice move pool. Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Thunder. He does get Flash Cannon, I believe. Hidden power of my choice, Dark Pulse, Sludge Wave. So he gets a very nice move pool. He also gets access to both Agility and Nasty Plot. So I can also turn him into a sweeper, depending on what I need for that week. And it could be extremely fun. Anywho, I could run both. I could run both stat boosting moves and just make them +2/+2, and it's just sweet from there, and nothing will be able to stop me. But this is where I started getting. After that, I started getting into my lower tier picks, and this first pick, I picked it up here. And it may seem silly that I kind of picked it up for pick number 5 because it's kind of a lower. I have my lower tiers open to me, but this was kind of a jab at Coach Jimmy of the former Chicago Bewares, now the Pittsburgh Steelers, because we found out that someone made a Bewares team literally like a month before he did. So and they were more successful than we were. So he opted to change, but his mascot was Beware, and so he wanted to use Beware, even though we kind of have a curse with mascots in our league. You draft your mascot, you lose, until you get rid of it. Jimmy drafted Beware last season and lost quite a few matches, whereas I drafted Ludicolo 2 seasons ago when I was the Lily Cove City Ludiculos, and I lost until I got rid of it, and then I started picking up wins again. So I decided to draft Beware. Again, like I said, my original team was a bit differently set up. It also had one of the Lotties on the team, so I had like a big ghost weakness that I needed to cover. So I needed like a normal type that I could switch into pretty much any ghost attack, and who can kind of threaten him out with big power. And Beware kind of fit just that. Because Beware's got a massive 120 base HP, 125 base attack, and defensive base 80, plus Fluffy gives him extra physical bulk, so he can be a physical wall. I could run choice band sets. I can run massive Z moves, because he does have a decent move pool as well. Again, like fighting moves, normal moves, dark moves, Earthquake, Ice Punch. So I can do quite a bit with him. I'm hoping to put him to a little better use than Jimmy ever could. His was named Kevin. Mine's named Chris. This ain't no Chris and Kevin show. Chris will show the superior Beware. And again, my whole thing, I'm gonna have fun. That's my plan. I'm gonna have lots of fun, and we're gonna make it work. Are we gonna go undefeated? Probably not, but we're gonna make it work. My next pick for pick number 6. Yep, number 6, because Mandibuzz was kind of a free pick. For my 6th pick of the draft was Bronzong, another RU Mon. At this point, I'd filled up all my free mandatory slots, and everything after this would come out of my creative points, but I had only used 180 at the time with Thundurus, so I still had a bit of leeway, a bit room to move in there, because I still had 220 points available to me between 3 mons, which was very possible to do. But anyway, so I went with Bronzong, and my idea was I needed a bulky steel type, because I had 3 guys on my team weak to fairy, and I needed something that could handle fairy type attacks. And Bronzong was my answer, being Steel Psychic, having 116 in both defenses. Sure, the 67 HP is not spectacular, but respectable attack stats, and 89, 79 as well. He is slow, but he does get Gyro Ball, which works in his favor. He's also a Trick Room setter, and between like him and Beware and the actual last couple, my last 3 picks, they're all slow. So I can run a Trick Room core on this team if I so choose. Maybe throwing in like Gallery Superior in there, so that like if something needs to be taken out quickly, they can outrun it and take it down. But then Bronzong comes in, sets up the Trick Room, and then lets my last couple of guys really put in the work, because they're strong and bulky but slow, which might hurt them in the end. Bronzong is a fun one though, because he's got Future Sight, which is always fun, and it lets you just annoy someone, because like upset Future Sight and then do some shenanigans, and then they forget about it, and then they get hit by it, and then it's like, oh. And pair that with Ninetales, because the only way to stop the Future Sight is to bring in a Dark type who's immune to it, bring out Ninetales who counters the Dark type, and then the issue just plays over and over and over again. There's really nothing they can do. But also, he has the abilities of Heat Proof and Levitate. Levitate is the obvious, like, really standard ability for him, because having immunity is great. But there might be some weeks where I don't need that ground type immunity. Maybe I'd rather have the reduced damage from fire. And so I could run Heat Proof or Levitate on any week, and it's all mind games, because they don't know what I'm going to run. They have to hope like, well, I do have this fire type, maybe he's going to run the Heat Proof, but if he isn't and running Levitate, then my ground type attacks that I hope to counter him with aren't going to work, and a whole bunch of mind games that maybe I can play. Who knows? It's all again dependent on who I'm playing, if they're going to fall for my little tricks, but again, fun. Keyword is fun. We're going to have fun with this team. Guarantee it. First match is in like a week, and I still have to make my guys. I'm gonna have fun. Look at my eyes. Fun. Anyway, so we're getting into the last couple of picks. So for my next pick, I went into the NU tier to pick up Incineroar. Another bulky Dark type who also has some power. Incineroar with the Darkest Lariat, so defense boosting people can just shove off. I don't care about that. Flare Blitz, Outrage, Cross Chop, Earthquake, Leech Life, lovely set. Lovely move pool. He also gets Fake Out, so I do have that kind of pressure I can put on people as well. Ugh. Sorry, getting a little tired here. I can put that Fake Out pressure on people as well. But sadly, the only thing that is keeping him in that lower tier is the fact that Intimidate has not been released on him yet. Once he gets Intimidate, he's going to be such a good Mon. Like, he's going to go UU, I swear. He's going to shoot right up to UU tier. Because with his moves and everything, he's just going to go... He just has the potential, but he just needs that Intimidate ability. And it's there. We know it's there. We know it's possible. But Pokemon Company is just like, nah, that ain't happening yet, buddy. But hopefully that day will come and he will be pretty amazing. But anyway, I picked him for another Ghost type. Like, this whole thing, I went so hard on picking up Dark types and Ghost type, anything to stop Ghost type attacks, and I don't remember if there are any Ghost types in the league. I may have tripped up on that one, but again, we'll see how it works. For my second to last pick, I went with my overall favorite Pokemon. He is in the PU tier because he is utter garbage. But I picked up Golurk, ladies and gentlemen. The ground ghost type, rocking that 124 base attack and no guard dynamic punches. That's it. Just no guard dynamic punches. Care who you are, I'm gonna hit you with that move. I'm gonna do it. My goal is to see how many kills I can make Golurk get. And I'm salivating over the idea that Golurk is going to be. He's not going to be the kill king. I don't think anyone's going to get as close as Porygon Z was on Zach's team last season. That thing, Lord Death of Kill Mountain. It took out like everything with the Z conversion set. Luckily, I got around that myself, but it was yeah. Anyway, he's decently bulky with base 80. 85, I think, or 86, or base 81, something like that. It's in the 80s for his defenses. His base 89 HP, so he's decently bulky, but he's got that base 55 speed, which holds him back. So he can hit hard, and he can take at least one hit. But it's going to be hard for him to dish out the hits and keep up with everyone because of how slow he is. But anyway, so if you remember earlier, I did say that originally I wanted Empoleon. So I had pretty much a UU. I had enough points for a UU mon set up. I needed a water type because I had a fire, water, grass core, just no water. Originally, the plan was for this team was get a steel, fairy, dragon core, but I couldn't find a dragon type that I really wanted to use. So I had a UU slot open, looking for a water type. Couldn't find anything that really suits my need. And again, remember I said I wanted something bulky, especially bulky, that could take hits. And I did not do that. I opted in the end to just be like, who cares? Let's get Crawdon. Let's hit them even harder. Crawdon is a beast. Having a lovely, again, 120 base attack. I have like Crawdon 120, Golurk 124, and Incineroar's got like 110. Thundurus 145. Like, I have some heavy hitters on my team. Just some of my heavy hitters are all slow. But he's a water dark type, adapted, but he gets adaptability. So all his all his moves that are the same type as him get double the power instead of an extra 50%. So like Aqua Jet would normally just be like, okay, 40 base power move, gets an extra 20 base power because 50% boost. Now that's doubled. So now he's got, you know, like an 80 base power Aqua Jet, Crab Hammer for 200 base power, Warterium Z something in Trick Room, and he's going to annihilate someone. Absolutely annihilate. This is just like doing like Hydro Warterium Z on like a Rakwanid. It's just crazy the amount of damage that you have to do. But he is slow again, 55 base speed. But that is offset by the fact that he does have priority in Aqua Jet, so he can outdo that. In addition, though, I do have Wrong Zone, so I can set up Trick Rooms if needed, and then allow him just Crab Hammer away at people. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There you have it. It's the Season 5 St. Petersburg Snorlaxes, ladies and gentlemen. I am extremely happy to be able to bring this to you and the content that will come with it. Hopefully, within the next few days, I will have a team builder up for my battle against Coach Jody setting me Sand Slashes for Week 1 of PAL Season 5. Hopefully, the battle for that should be up by Sunday. Team builder should be up by Saturday. So about a week. You guys will see how the first week goes. Again, we're going to try to continue be the kings of regular play with our undefeated streaks. Only 10 weeks this season, so that will be interesting. Shorter season. I don't fight everybody as well. I only Coach Brendan, Coach Ashley, both of them. It was set up so I do not fight them this season. It's fortunate. I know Ashley's always out to get me, but the powers that be basically said, nah, that ain't happening this season. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my draft recap video. I really would love to hear feedback from you guys of this. What do you think of my team? What do you think of the new little look we have going on here? I hope to remake all my battle layouts and team building layouts in the same similar style. I think it came out pretty good. Shout out to Hannons for his help constructing this little layout. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed everything. If you did, please leave a like down below. And if you are new here and want to see more of my Pokemon content, please subscribe as well. I am hoping to start getting into VGC as well, so maybe I'll start getting at VGC battles as well. I am planning to go to a regional event in Connecticut at the end of the month, at the end of September. So hopefully I can do well there. My local VGC adventures have panned out decently. Never won any, but I always made top cut at the small tournaments I went to. So that's gonna stand for something. But yeah. Anyway, I'm Russian Carl, guys. I'm gonna head out of here. I'm tired. I need to go to sleep. See you guys next time.